Yeah, so I'm Coach Stevenson. Yeah, so I'm a student at BYU. I'm studying, my major is teaching social science, and I'm minoring in PE and coaching. I currently coach for the lacrosse team up at BYU, the women's lacrosse team. Just an assistant coach. I played there for 4 years though, and then this is my 5th year in college, so I can't play anymore because my eligibility's up. But anyway, so I've had a lot of experience with sports throughout my days, and this is my practicum. So I come into the schools and I teach a few lessons, and then starting in January, I'll actually be here at McMountain, student teaching in Smith's class. So if any of you have history, yay.
I gotta jump in, I'm sorry.
Yeah, please do.
She was my TA for 2 years.
Yeah, no, I think I took this class like 3 times.
She sat where you guys are sitting, not that long ago, in my mind, in your mind.
Specifically in Maddie's seat, actually.
TA back here. It's actually kind of fun for me to see her teach. Sorry. All right, take it away, boss.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so I heard you guys are learning about team harmony. So I'm going to talk, thank you, just about, there's 10 rules that we're going to go over. And most of these are pretty self-explanatory. Wyatt told me a good way to help you guys visualize this, that's very relatable to you, is, you know when you guys have dances here at the school and you get in your groups, and then you guys have to decide like where you're gonna go eat, and then where you're gonna like go, I don't know, after the dance, if you're gonna go bowling, or if you're gonna go laser tagging, or you know, all those different things that you have to decide as a group, and it's like a pain in the butt. Yeah, okay, so visualize that as we go through these roles, okay? So the first one is devil's advocate. I'm sure that's pretty self-explanatory, but we'll go over it a little more. So this role involves taking a position contrary to what the group thinks. Also, those people upstairs are really annoying, kind of gonna bug me. This group can generate deeper thinking on issues, but can be frustrating to other group members because this person never seems to agree with the group. We all know exactly who we're talking about right here. They're always the one that has to be like, well, I don't like that, so we should do this. Or, well, so you're saying this, like, that's dumb. And anyway, we all know those people. Don't be one of those people. So devil's advocates tend to emerge when the group's thinking has become fairly obvious. Often the sign of a devil's advocate at work are phrases such as, but don't you think that? Or, well, on the other hand, or, so what I hear you saying is, but I think X, right? So, well, you guys want to go to Cafe Rio, but I want to go to Costa Vida, because obviously Costa Vida is better. Okay. So we all kind of know what we're talking about here. We'll go to the next one. Okay, the listener. For me, this is definitely more my style. I'm more of the person to sit back, be quiet, observe everything that's going on, and then if I have anything to say, I'll put in my 2 cents. So can you recall the strong silent type present and operating in groups you have previously been associated with? Listeners listen carefully to the thoughts and opinions of others in the group. They might ask 1 or 2 questions just to make sure that they understand exactly what's going on. When the listeners at last get to speak, their ideas tend to be well thought out. They often remain quiet. This is not because they're withholding so the group can't benefit from their ideas. They remain quiet because they have not yet come to a clear understanding. A wise facilitator or guide will ask the listener directly but gently, such as, Bill, I can see you've been listening and thinking deeply. What would you like to offer at this point? And that's great. And often listeners do have great ideas. They just like to take it all in first, think it through, and then they'll give their thoughts. Okay? We good there? Great. All right, number 3, the idea generator. Okay, this is literally my sister, like so much. She always has all these ideas. They're great ideas, some of them, and some of them she should sometimes keep to herself. But, so this is very self-explanatory. They're the ones that come up with all the ideas. They're like, well, we could do this, or we could do this, or we could do this, or what about that really cool place that we went to that's called like Tucanos or something? So good, that's a great idea. So they're constantly coming up with ideas on a stunning variety of subjects. So they're kind of all over the place. Maybe even scatterbrained, you could say. But they're great. We need those kinds of people in society because sometimes we just aren't creative enough. They're great. A wise facilitator or guide will have a simple strategy to capture the ideas and maybe set them aside for consideration until the right time when you can all process those ideas and come to a conclusion of what you want to do. Okay? All right. 4, this one, simple, the helper. The helper plays a role in helping the leader in any way they can. So you're just there, you assist in any way you can. You could call them like a TA. They help the teacher in any way they can. All right, number 5, the clarifier. They're in a role similar to the listener. They ask questions or seek additional information. Typically when you're confused, like on assignments, you clarify with the teacher. You're like, so what you're saying is you want us to do this, and then it gets clarified. This is great because a lot of people, they might not actually know what you're trying to say. Clarifiers are awesome because then if you don't understand it, likely there's someone else in the group that also doesn't understand it. So it's always great to ask those questions because someone else probably has the same question. Happens all the time, especially on teams. Whenever we're at practice and we give the girls the drill to go do, there's always a question. And then you see their puzzled looks like, wait, what do you want us to do? And we're like, someone asks, and then we're like, yes, we want you to make a line here, put all the balls here, and we're going to shoot here. They're great. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Clarifying is A-okay. Okay? Why?
With the clarifier here, just the person that asked whether or not we could use the desks, that would work as a clarifier, right?
Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah, for sure.
And then in your teams, there's always going to be that person who does the clarify, which is powerful.
Definitely. 6, the mediator. This person is very, very important. I sometimes really feel like the mediator in my family. I'm always the one that's running over to this side. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Okay, let me go talk to her. I go over here. Hey, this is what they said. Okay, great. I'll go back. Okay, we're the ones that keep the balance. That's what mediators do, okay? So when the mediator role is played well, positive relationships between the group's members are nourished and maintained. However, sometimes the mediator can be more relationship-oriented and less task-oriented. So keeping persons who take this role focused on the task of communal discernment is a priority for discernment guides. So just saying, like, we might be more invested in the relationships and not so much the task at hand. So sometimes that can become a problem. Other than that, this is great for building team camaraderie, which is really important. I'm sure most of you probably know if the team's not in sync with each other, it can cause a lot of problems. 7, the Joker. We all love the Joker. They bring in this sense of lightheartedness that really makes it fun. Sometimes they can be really annoying though. But we love the Joker. They keep things lighthearted when we're trying to be serious. So they're great. But groups work well when there's a sense of humor and the ways in which we perform the tasks. But the Joker can also be a distraction and cause the group to lose focus. So that is one thing we do need to be aware of, is that we do like joking around and having fun, obviously, but there's also a time and place for it, and there's also a time and place to have that focus and make sure we get the job done. A biggest example of this is like at practices. There's all kinds of jokes. The biggest joke at practice for us is because some of us are married and some of us aren't, is that someone's pregnant, which is not funny. It's not a joke. Everyone says, I am now. I just got married. And they're like, oh, yeah, you're pregnant. I'm like, no, stop. Please stop. Anyway, so we get really distracted because my coach, the head coach, she actually just had her baby. So she was pregnant. Someone's been pregnant every season for like the past 4 years. So the running joke is that it's my turn. It's not, okay? But it's always a joke, and we always lose focus over it. But you got to be able to bring it back together after something like that happens and maintain that group focus so that we can get the job done. Why, if you would? The sniper. Okay, so typically the sniper is kind of lurking in the shadows. No one really knows who they are. And then when the time is right, they just line up and take their shot. This happens a lot when the idea generator is maybe throwing out ideas. And then the group comes up with this great idea, and they're like, yeah, okay, let's do this. The sniper's like, nope, it's a terrible idea. We're not doing that. And it's a real letdown when that happens. But it's true. That's exactly what happens. So the sniper's the person that shoots things down. As you can see, he or she shoots to kill the idea or suggestion dead in its tracks. Yeah, I don't think you guys have any questions on that one really. So we can move on unless you have
I'm
something.
just saying, it's, if you're planning for your day date, right, for Jingle Ball this weekend, right, and you're like, hey, we're going snowmobiling, it's gonna be awesome, it's gonna be a blast, we're gonna have hot cocoa afterward, it's gonna be so much fun. The sniper's the one that'll sit there and be like, we don't have any gas, or we don't have any speed bills.
Yep.
Or there's no snow.
Yeah, that's right.
That kind of becomes their role and they should be there.
Definitely, definitely. Number 9 is the decision maker. So they come in and they just want to get the decision made right off the bat. They're sick of discussing, they're just ready to get it done and move on. So, which is great, and we need these kinds of people, otherwise we'd probably never get anywhere because we'd be too busy just keeping throwing out ideas and saying, maybe this, maybe that, maybe, I don't know, maybe we should do this, and the decision maker comes in and they're like, okay, this is a great idea, let's just roll with it. And that's great, and that's fine. And if you're that person, kudos to you, because being indecisive is something we all struggle with sometimes, but being a decision maker, that's a great habit. You guys are really going to want to keep that throughout college. Trust me. Number 10, dominator. This is obviously Coach Wyatt. Yeah, anytime. No, this is more like Mr. Miner, I think. But they can appear as if they have everything already sewn up. They seem to attract power and office to themselves. Dominators can provide good leadership in a group discussion, but they can also make it very difficult for the group members to participate. So this can be really hard. Going through this, a specific player actually comes into my mind. Won't say her name, but she's a junior this year, so she has a little bit more seniority than the other girls. But she is very dominating. It makes it really hard sometimes for her to build relationships with other players on our team. She just comes off very rude sometimes. She offers great ideas, and that's wonderful. But her personality is very much like, what I say is right, and what I say goes. And that's not really, we try to avoid it. We're trying to avoid conflicts with that. But they do have their good things, but it's also something we really need to watch for, because on a team, it's a team effort. It is not one person's effort. It's everybody participating together to make it all work. Okay, do we have any questions? What, you have anything else to add to that?
Oh, great job. Well done.
Great, all right, cool. Thanks, guys.